This tutorial will quickly teach you how to use the basic software functions and how to easily navigate the software's user interface. You will create a form template for hospital stay evaluation. This evaluation is a typical survey form containing several types of areas that Remark Office OMR recognizes, including text, OMR bubbles, and an area for gathering comments. The survey asks previous hospital patients to provide details about when and where they stayed, and then answer some basic questions to evaluate their stay. A survey such as this one can be scanned to produce data and reports to show how the hospital is performing. You will perform the following steps in this tutorial. Create the hospital stay evaluation form template, process completed hospital stay evaluation forms, review and correct the data output, save the hospital stay evaluation data, and analyze the hospital stay evaluation data using Remark QuickStats. The first step in this process is to create a form template outlining the areas on the form that you want the software to recognize. If you aren't already running it, start Remark Office OMR. Start off by creating a new form template. You can do this by selecting the File menu and then clicking New Form Template. Alternatively, in the left-hand panel known as the Task pane, you can select New under the Templates tab. Any of these actions will open a second window containing the Remark Office OMR Template Editor. If the Template Editor opens, but you do not see the Properties Form Template window, select the File menu and click New Form Template. This window is where you describe your form to Remark Office OMR. You do this by entering basic information about your form, including the form template description, page size, and page orientation. Enter Hospital Stay Evaluation in the description box. Locate the page size area where you can tell the software the paper size for your form. Select US letter in the size drop-down list. Locate the orientation area and select Portrait. Then click the Capture Image button to continue. The Create Page Elements window appears. The Create Page Elements window allows you to either acquire an image of your form from your scanner or acquire an image of your form from an existing image file. Each page in a form template is created using an image of the appropriate page in your form. The image allows you to see the form so that you can easily teach Remark Office OMR how to read it. As previously mentioned, there are two ways to acquire an image for a form template page. Images can be acquired by scanning to create a new image file or by opening an existing image file. We will be acquiring our image from a pre-scanned image file stored on your computer. Click the Read Images button in the Image Collection Method area. Click the Browse button. The Select Image File window appears. Select the Tutorial2 Hospital Stay Survey.tif file from the Tutorial2 folder of your Remark Office OMR installation directory. Once an image is acquired by opening an existing image file, the template editor displays a thumbnail of the image for your approval. When a thumbnail image of your form appears, click the OK button to accept the image. Once the thumbnail image is accepted, the template editor opens the new form template where you can begin to define the regions. You can see a tree view on the left and an image representation of the form on your right. The purpose behind making a form template is to tell the software where to locate the information on your specific form and how to understand your specific data requirements. The table on the right-hand part of the screen lists the 6 regions on the hospital stay evaluation form and their corresponding region types. The hospital name text is located in the upper left-hand corner of the form and is defined as an OCR region. Remark Office OMR reads the pre-printed text automatically so that the responses can be tied back to specific hospitals. Highlight the Page 1 node on the left side of your screen if it isn't already highlighted. Select the Page menu, click Insert, and then click OCR Region after selected page. Or you can click the purple toolbar button. Alternatively, select the Draw Regions link in the task pane, and then select Insert OCR Region. At this point, the mouse will change to a crosshair. To create the OCR region, place the cursor just beyond the top left of the text, and then press and hold the left mouse button while dragging the rectangle beyond the bottom right corner of the text, making sure you have selected the entire allotted space. Because text length may vary depending on the name of each hospital, capture a little extra space at the end of the text to accommodate the largest possible hospital name you might process. After positioning the box, release the mouse button and the Properties window appears, allowing you to define the region's properties. This window allows you to provide pertinent information about the OCR region. Type hospital in the region name box. The region name provides a brief description of the region and will become the name for this column in your dataset. Set the OCR type to primary. Primary OCR works well in most cases and is the default setting. The following options should be set to their default settings. Data type is textual. We're collecting hospital names, which are textual. If we were to export our data once it is collected, the data type would be flagged as textual in the output file. Language should be English. Orientation will be left to right. The text on our form is oriented left to right. And OCR image preprocess options should all be unchecked. Mark the checkbox for region contains more than one word. Each hospital name contains more than one word. Then click the OK button to return to the main template editor window. You'll now see a purple box around the text in the image area, identifying it as an OCR region, and a new node in the tree view titled Hospital. The hospital unit question contains two columns of bubbles separated by text. Therefore, we have to use the software's Append Linked Regions feature to link the second set of bubbles to the first set. When linking regions that have text in the middle of them, you can create a region around the first set of bubbles, then link the second set to the first set. Highlight the hospital node by clicking it in the tree view if it isn't already highlighted. Select the Region menu, click Insert, and then click OMR Region after selected region, or click the green toolbar button. Alternatively, you can select the Insert OMR Region link in the task pane. At this point, the mouse will change to a crosshair. Place the cursor to the left of the top bubble for cardiac, then press and hold the left mouse button while dragging the rectangle to the bottom right corner of the region, the bubble for maternity. Make sure you capture all three bubbles in the region. After positioning the box, release the mouse button. The Properties OMR Region window appears. This window allows you to enter information that will define the OMR region and the data it produces, including region definition, which is the area containing the region name, the type of OMR region, and the data type, the region layout, which details how many rows and columns of marks are contained in the region and their orientation, as well as the possible responses, which are the labels that you want to see as your data. In the region definition area, enter hospital unit in the box titled Region Name. For the OMR type, select Multiple. The multiple region designation is used for typical multiple choice style questions. For the data type, select Textual. This region contains hospital unit names, so textual data is appropriate. In the region layout area to the right, select Column for region orientation. Region orientation lets Remark Office OMR know how the region is structured on the form. For this question, The question's first set of answer choices is listed in one column. Ensure that 1 was entered in the columns in the region box and 3 in the rows in the region box. The region size lets Remark Office OMR know how many rows and columns of marks are in the region. Locate the labels area and then type in the text for each unit: cardiac, general surgery, maternity, 1 per line. Your choice of labels in the form template determines what you see in the dataset when your filled-in forms are processed. The labels represent the response choices for each bubble, moving from top to bottom. Notice that as you type the labels, numbers automatically fill the values column to the right. While the labels represent the data you will see returned from the processed forms, the values represent the information Remark QuickStats uses to perform any statistical analysis. When you're finished, click the OK button to return to the main template editor window. You will see a green box around the first column of bubbles in the hospital unit area of the form, identifying it as an OMR region. You'll also see the hospital unit is added to the tree view in the left side of the template editor. We can now add the second set of options in the hospital unit question to the first, using the Append Linked Region feature. With the hospital unit node selected in the tree view, select Region menu and click Append Linked Region, or click the toolbar button. Place the cursor just to the left of the top bubble for neurology. Then press and hold the left mouse button while dragging the rectangle to the bottom right corner of the region, the bubble for pediatrics. Make sure you capture all 3 bubbles in the region. After positioning the box, release the mouse button. The Properties OMR Region window appears. You will notice that everything is filled in for you, based on the previous OMR region, with the exception of the labels. Locate the labels area and then type in the text for each unit: neurology, pathology, and pediatrics, 1 per line. Your choice of labels in the form template determines what you will see in the dataset when your forms are filled in and processed. Click the OK button to return to the main template editor window. You will see a green box around the second column of bubbles in the hospital unit area of the form, identifying it as an OMR region. You'll also see that the 2 linked regions are outlined with a dashed line to show their linked status. The length of stay in days region is a third OMR region designed to output the number of days the respondent stayed in the hospital. The steps involved in creating this OMR region are similar to those performed for the hospital unit. However, notice that many of the region's properties change to reflect that the area on the form has a single row with 5 columns instead of 2 columns with 3 rows. Highlight Hospital Unit by clicking its node in the tree view if it isn't already highlighted. Select the Region menu, click Insert, and then click OMR Region after selected region, or you can click the green toolbar button. Alternatively, you can select the Insert OMR Region link in the task pane. The cursor will change to a crosshair. Place the cursor to the top left of the row of marks representing the length of stay. Then press and hold the left mouse button while dragging the rectangle to the bottom right corner, capturing all of the bubbles in the region. In the region definition area, enter length of stay in the box titled Region Name. For the OMR type, select Multiple. For the data type, select Textual. This region contains a number of days, but because one of the choices, 5+, is not numeric, textual is the correct data type. In the region layout area to the right, select Row for region orientation. Region orientation lets Remark Office OMR know how the region is structured on the form. For this question, the question's answer choices are listed in a row. The following should be filled in for you. Columns in the region, 5, and rows in the region, 1. If not, please enter these values now. For the labels area, type the number for each length of stay on each of the rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 plus, 1 per line. This label range represents the response choices for each bubble, moving from left to right. Again, notice that as you type the labels, numbers automatically fill the values column in the grid. Click the OK button to return to the main template editor window. You will now see a green box around the length of stay region in the form area, identifying it as an OMR region. You will also see that length of stay is added to the tree view. The room number region needs to capture all 5 digits as one piece of information. We will use a grid OMR region to define the bubbles on the form. A grid OMR region outputs a single piece of data regardless of the number of rows and columns included in the region. This type of region is used for items such as dates, ID numbers, and many more of the like. The steps involved to create a grid region are the same as you used to create the OMR regions we already created. However, the specific properties of the region change to reflect the way the region is formatted on the form and the way we want the software to report the data. Highlight the length of stay node in the tree view if it isn't already highlighted. Click the green OMR toolbar button to insert an OMR region, and then draw the OMR region box around the entire group of bubbles. After positioning the box, release the mouse button, and the Properties OMR Region window appears. In Region Definition area, enter room number in the region name box. Select Grid for the OMR type. Select Numeric for the data type, as we're capturing a 5-digit number. In Region Layout area, select Column for the region orientation. Each column in this region represents 1 digit of the room number. In the Columns in Region box, ensure that 5 was entered, and in the Rows in Region box, ensure that 10 was entered. Enter the appropriate labels in possible responses. For the Labels area, click the drop-down arrow for possible label scales and choose the scale 0 to 9 from the list of choices. This range represents the response choices for bubbles in all 5 columns, moving from top to bottom. The numbers fill the labels grid automatically. The labels represent the data that is returned from the processed forms when filled in by the respondent, and the grid region returns all selections to make a 5-digit number. Click the OK button to return to the main template editor window. You'll see a green box around the room number region in the form area, identifying it as an OMR region. You'll also see that room number is added to the tree view. There are 5 questions on the form that ask the patient to evaluate his or her hospital stay. All 5 questions share the same evaluation scale of strongly agree to strongly disagree, which allows them to share the one set of labels on the form. This compact and logical question area can be captured with a single OMR region even though it contains 5 separate questions. Defining similar questions in one region saves time and effort and is preferable. Highlight the room number node in the tree view if it isn't already highlighted. Click the green OMR toolbar button to insert an OMR region, and use the crosshair to draw a box around the entire group of 20 bubbles. This region contains 5 individual questions, and each question has 4 possible answer choices. When the Properties OMR Region box opens, enter Evaluation in the Region Name box. Select Multiple as the OMR type. Select Textual for the data type. This region contains a scale from strongly agree to strongly disagree, so textual data is appropriate. In the region layout area, select row for the region orientation because each individual question occupies one row of the region. Ensure that 4 was entered in the columns in the region box and 5 in the rows in the region box. In the possible label scales drop-down list, select the strongly agree to strongly disagree scale. The labels and values grids are automatically filled in with the appropriate labels and values. In the left task pane, select Question Properties. The next step is to enter the question text and question names for all 5 questions. Question text appears on the reports generated in Remark QuickStats and is useful when exporting to some data formats. Question names can be used to enter individual names for every question within one OMR region. If the question names grid is left blank, the software uses a region name defined on the previous screen and appends sequential numbers to the end of the name to differentiate the questions. Individual question names are useful if you are exporting the data to an existing file that requires specific field names, such as an access table. Enter the question text and question names for each of the 5 questions. Click the OK button to return to the main template editor window. You will see a green box around the hospital stay evaluation region in the form area, identifying it as an OMR region. You'll also see that evaluation is entered to the tree view. Areas in which you expect your respondent to use handwriting can be captured by Remark Office OMR as an image regions. Image regions offer you 3 different ways to capture the handwriting. The software can take a snapshot of the handwriting and store it on your computer as an image file. The software allows you to enter the handwritten information into your dataset using Image Assistant data entry. Or you can apply qualitative codes that characterize the comments as you read them on screen. For image clips and data entry regions, you can run a respondent report in Remark QuickStats to view the information from the image region. For qualitative codes, you can run an item analysis report. Here we are capturing a snapshot of the handwriting, which will be an image clip. Highlight the evaluation node in the tree view if it isn't already highlighted, and then click the blue toolbar button to insert an image region. Once the cursor becomes a crosshair, place the cursor at the top left of the area you would expect the respondent to enter their comments. Press and hold the left mouse button while dragging the rectangle to the bottom right corner of the area, making sure you have selected the entire allotted space. After positioning the box, release the mouse button and the Properties Image Region window appears, allowing you to define the region's properties. Enter comments in the region name box. Set the region type to image clip. This captures each respondent's response as a small image file for storage on your computer. You can then run a report in Remark QuickStats to review the comments. At the bottom of the region definition area, mark the setting for attempt to detect the presence of handwriting in the region. By using this feature, Remark Office OMR searches for handwriting in the image region area during form processing. If writing is found, the image clip is captured and the path to the clipped image file is displayed in the data grid. In the target folder box, click the ellipsis to choose the images folder of your Remark Office OMR installation. Whenever a comment is found, a small image file is captured and stored in this folder. In the Begin Names With box, type tutorial comments. When the images are captured, the image names begin with the text tutorial comments so that you know they belong to this form. Set the clip file type and compression to the default settings of TIFF and Group 4. Click the OK button and return to the main template editor window. You can see that the new image region is visible as a blue field on your form and that the comments is added to the tree view of your form template. We are finished creating all of the regions in our form template and need to save the form template as a file so that we can use them to process the completed forms. Select the File menu and then click Save or select the Save link in the task pane. Make note of where you saved the form template. In the File Name box, type Tutorial 2 and then click the Save button. You have now created the Tutorial 2 form template. Close the template editor by selecting the File menu and then clicking Exit. Alternatively, you may also simply click the X in the upper right-hand corner of the template editor window. Now that you have created the form template for the hospital stay evaluation survey, you are ready to begin processing the completed forms using the supplied image files. If you aren't already running it, start Remark Office OMR Data Center. When the Data Center opens, it displays a blank spreadsheet-style data grid. The Data Center offers a task pane on the left containing the most commonly requested actions. Select the File menu and then click Open Template or select the Open Other Templates link in the task pane. You must open a form template in order to process forms. Select the tutorial2.omr file and then click the Open button. Alternatively, we have provided a sample file in the tutorial2 folder. When the tutorial2 form template opens, its name appears on the title bar at the top of the screen and you see the region names you specified as your column headers in the data grid. Each column in the grid corresponds with one variable or question in the form template, as the column headers indicate. The data grid fills row by row as your completed forms are processed. Each grid row contains information from one processed form, regardless of the number of pages the form contains. The Read window is used to process completed forms and produce data. The Read window has several steps to help customize the reading process. This tutorial focuses on the basic functions. As mentioned previously, we are reading pre-scanned image files. Select the Tools menu and then click Read, or you can select the Read link in the task pane. This opens the Read window. In the Data Collection Method area, select the button for Read Images. Then click the Next button to continue. The image selection window appears to enable you to view and select the images you want to process. Navigate to the Tutorial2 folder of your Remark Office OMR installation. Navigate to the Images for Processing folder. Select the file called Tutorial2 Completed Hospital Stay Surveys.tiff by either double-clicking it or selecting it and clicking the top green button for Add Selected Images, which moves the file into the Images and Read Order window on the right. Click the Next button to continue. The Review Exceptions window appears. This window allows you to configure options for reviewing exception cases such as blank and multiple responses. We are using this feature in this tutorial. If the Enable Review Exceptions button is selected, click it to deselect this option. We are not reviewing exceptions at this time. Click the Read button to begin reading image files. As each image is processed, a row of data is added to the data grid. After the forms are processed, 20 rows of data are displayed in the data grid. Each row represents the responses collected from one of the forms. You are now ready to inspect the data for missing or unrecognized responses in order to prepare for analysis and/or data export. We use an automated tool called Review Exceptions to locate and correct any exceptions in our data. Click the Tools menu and then select Review Exceptions, or click the Review Exceptions link in the task pane. Once you access Review Exceptions, use the task pane to select the exception cases you would like to review, such as blank responses, multiple responses, recognition errors, image regions, database lookup regions, barcode regions, OCR regions, repeated rank responses, or required items. You can also choose whether to search by rows or columns in the data grid. Select the Next button at the top of the data grid to start the review process. The Data Center searches the data for the specified exception cases. When a selected exception case is found, it appears in the data header bar at the top of the data grid. The bar is color-coded to match the exception type. Use this window to make changes. You can use a drop-down list if applicable, or type a response. Note that if there is a list of answer choices defined, as you begin typing, Remark Office OMR will attempt to autofill your answer based on your possible answer choices. The first piece of flag data is a multiple response in the first grid row for the item called length of stay, which is flagged as green in the data header bar. In the data header bar above the grid, use a drop-down list to select the appropriate response. Use the image viewer beneath the grid to review the respondent's form. It appears that the respondent changed his response from 3 to 4 by crossing out the original mark and filling in a second bubble. We will assume that 4 is the correct response. Select 4 from the drop-down list. Click the Next button to move to the next exception. The next exception is a multiple response in row 2 for the item called respect. Look at the image viewer to view the intended response. In this case, it looks like the respondent changed his response from strongly agree to agree. Select agree from the drop-down list. Then press the Enter key. There are no more exception cases in this data. When prompted, click Save Changes to the message to save your changes. There are no more exceptions to review in this dataset. Your data is now ready to be saved and analyzed. After reviewing the data, you may save it to one of many file formats available for exporting data to other applications. For this tutorial, we will save the data to the Remark Extended format, which is a proprietary format within the software. This format saves the exception colors if they're present, as well as the link from the data to the stored images so that you can open your data and still view the image that corresponds with any piece of data. Select the File menu and then click Save, or you can click the Save link in the task pane. Data can be saved anywhere on your system. By default, a data folder is installed in the Remark Office OMR directory. We recommend using this folder for the storage of data files. In the Look-in box, navigate to this data folder on your system. Click the Save As Type down arrow to display a list of file types. If not already selected, click the Remark Extended format. Type Tutorial 2 in the box titled File Name. Click OK to save the file. Remark Office OMR provides statistical analysis functionality for tabulating data from your forms. The Quick Survey feature is one such facility and provides you with a choice of standard reports based on your data. Select the Tools menu, then click Analysis, and then click Quick Survey. Or you can click the Analysis tab and then select Quick Survey in the task pane. The Remark Quick Stats window will appear. By default, the Condensed Item Analysis report displays. If you're not seeing the report, click the Item Analysis Reports link in the task pane and choose Condensed Item Analysis. The Condensed Item Analysis report shows several statistics for each question, such as label, total, and percent. Each table displays statistics for a separate question in the survey. This simple, straightforward report may be all that you need to communicate your survey's results. Although we will not view every available report in this tutorial, we suggest that you explore the other reports and experiment with the report options by using the Report Style pane to adjust the look and feel of the reports. Let's take a look at one more report, the Response by Item report, which shows us the answers to the comments question. In the task pane, select the Response Reports link and then click the Response by Item link. A selection window will appear, allowing you to choose questions on which to base the report. From the questions list, choose the comments question and move it to the Selected Questions window so that we can see the responses to our open-ended comments question. Click the Run Report button to run the report. Notice that the comments are displayed on screen for all handwritten comments. You can read through them and/or export them to another format. The Report Style pane on the right allows you to choose whether to show or hide the respondent identifier. Our survey is anonymous. Therefore, you may wish to hide the respondent identifier by changing Respondent ID to No. Then click the Apply button and run the report again. Note that the comments are clearer when printed. Now we will demonstrate the use of the Report Batch feature. This feature allows you to display, print, or export multiple reports at one time. In addition, it allows you to auto-filter data based on one or more questions on your form. We are going to auto-filter the data based on the hospital OCR region. Remark Quick Stats provides us with a report for each hospital based on the filter that we set up. In Remark Quick Stats, select the Tools menu and then click Report Batches, or select Report Batches from the task pane. Mark the checkbox for Filter Reports By and then select Hospital. The reports will be created based on the hospital names in our data. Remark Quick Stats will sort out the data behind the scenes and then report by hospital. Click the Next button to continue. The next window allows you to choose which reports to run. Select the Detailed Item Analysis report and the Response Report by Item. These reports will provide us with an item analysis for each question and a listing of the open-ended comments. Click the Next button to continue. The next window allows you to print the reports. We will not print for this tutorial. Click the Next button to continue. The next window allows you to display and export the reports. Mark the checkbox for Display the reports upon completion. Mark the checkbox for Export Reports As and choose Portable Document Format, PDF. Do not mark the checkboxes for merge all selected reports into a single file or save all reports to a single folder. The result will be individual reports for each hospital. Click the ellipsis next to Based File Name. Here you will choose the location and name for your file. Note where you save the file so that you can view it later. Click the Finish button to generate the reports. You are asked if you want to save the report batch file for later use. Click No for this tutorial. Saving report batches is useful, however, if you plan to run the same reports repeatedly. The reports begin to generate, and you will see a progress bar on the screen. The response report by item requires user input. You are prompted to choose a question on which to base this report. When prompted, choose the Comments question from the Questions window. Use the arrow to move it to the selected Questions window. This report displays all of the handwritten comments from the forms. You are notified when the report batch is finished creating your reports. Navigate on your computer to the folder in which you save the PDF files. You will see folders for each hospital and 2 reports in each folder, one for the detailed item analysis and one for the response report by item. If you have the Adobe Acrobat Reader, open the reports to gain a better understanding of how the autofilter feature worked. This tutorial illustrated the basics of using the software, including creating a form template in which we linked OMR regions, processing forms, using review exceptions to clean the data, saving the data, and tabulating surveys with Quick Survey, in which we used report batches. You have completed this Remark Office OMR tutorial. We encourage you to read the Designing Scannable Forms chapter of your Remark Office OMR User's Guide before you get started with your own forms. If you encounter any problems with Remark Office OMR, please contact Remark Support.